Oh, yeah. Welcome out. This is the Remix Morning Show. Right here on Black Liberation Media. In case you didn't know, I go by the name of the Ear Doctor, here to bring you that boom bap breakfast. Yes, us, not just me, holding the D, straight from DMV. You know he goes by the name of Jerry.
Yo. Yeah. Snow Day remix.
Yeah, we inside.
We are definitely inside. Man, peace to you, Ear Doctor. Welcome, everybody. Please do all the things.
Yeah, like
support the platform.
Show your love. Yeah, man. Yeah, we snowed in, man. You know, Morgan State is closed for the day. Oh, okay.
So I said, let me hang out with the remix.
Yes, sir. It is it's nice out here. It's actually 27 degrees down here. They say it feel like 7, but people are still driving around. You know, it was a fear of black ice, but I see people driving, so yeah.
Yeah, it's, what does it say? 20 degrees up here.
Everybody got mad snacks at home, thinking they're gonna be in. They done eating them all because they bored, watching all types of TV and stuff. Oh.
Streaming numbers going back up.
Ooh, big
I saw this too, man. Rest in peace to Michael Parenti, the legendary media scholar and political scientist.
Okay.
In terms of, you know, some of us used to rank him, and we used to rank our whites scholars. He was at the top. Many of us had him above Chomsky, especially now that, you know, with the Chomsky Epstein stuff. Parenti was no joke, and the late great Dr. James Turner assigned his Democracy for the Few book to us in grad school. And so once I saw that Dr. Turner was co-signing Parenti, I knew this dude was serious, and read a bunch more of his work over the years. And so yeah, rest in power to Michael Parenti and Alex Preti, if you know.
So like we do in the barbershop, that's your top 5 rappers, your top 5 white scholars. Did he on your top 5 white scholars?
Oh, he's at the top. I mean, he may be at the tippy top. That's a good question. I'd have to think about my white scholar Mount Rushmore. And this would be scholars, not activists, right? Okay. We would separate the two, or would we
I don't know, because like when I seen this picture, I thought about how would you even rank this picture right here?
Well, first of all, this looks like AI, so I'm already bothered by it.
It is. It's pictures, though. It's the pictures of certain people. Like, could you name who these people are?
I know 3 for sure. I don't think I know 2 though.
I don't know
the 2 at the bottom. I can't claim. I'd have to say.
Yeah, I don't know them neither. But
can folks in the chat? Yeah, Gaddafi, Sankara, and Lumumba. But I can't place the other 2.
I don't know.
And yeah, Chitty Machi, I'm with you. We would separate scholars from activists.
Because you don't have to be a scholar to be an activist.
No. And so yeah, I'd have to think Parenti would definitely be on there. I mean my quick, you know, somebody like what's my man's name? Oh wow, I just went blank.
It happens to me every time.
Right here. Yeah, Howard Zinn.
Oh, okay. Howard
Zinn, right? Exactly. Yeah, I'd probably put it, and he taught at HBCUs too. So you know, he got, you know, like a lot of, oddly enough, there's a whole history of white radical and including Jews who got positions teaching at HBCUs because white universities wouldn't hire them.
Bro,
so Zinn was one of them.
I just thought about when I was at Morris Brown, and we used to go. Me and my crew used to go around to different like Clark, where they had like a white professor teaching history, and we would go in this classroom and just
And
just
harass
wreck
them.
shop. Oh yes, we was like, that's not true. What happened? Oh, he would hate us.
I
Oh, he's
actually
like,
had I actually had one really good white history professor back in undergrad. I can't remember his name, but I remember he was the first one. One of the first teachers I remember having where he said, because it was a Western European history class, and he said that Europeans are a borrowing culture. He was like, they don't invent nothing. And I was like, borrowing is a nice euphemism.
a very nice word.
You know, but at least he was headed in the right direction. So I thought of Saeed. Are we doing the white Arab thing? Does he count as white? Or Arabs white? I don't know. Like, are we doing the white Latino thing? Like, how are we defining that?
Do they come from the Caucasus Mountains?
I don't know.
Are they Urugus? What are we doing here?
I don't know if we count that. I haven't read enough Roediger for me to put. He wouldn't make my Rushmore just because I haven't read enough. But I'd have to. So, like, I might have thought, like, initially up until the end of his life, I might have thought of even somebody like Albert Memmi. But his comeback on the colonial question, he kind of flipped. But I don't know. I'd have to think about that. That's a good question. Parenti for sure, though, because he really. Maybe I don't know. Maybe it's somebody like Richard Wolff, who's still alive. I would put maybe up there. I'd have to think about that though. How many? I don't.
Because when you think of that, when I posed that question, I thought about who was the most. Who you got?
Basil Davidson.
Basil.
He's no longer living, but a British African historian. Okay. And I read a lot of his work in grad school, and I thought he was I wouldn't say a revolutionary, but he was pretty forward thinking in his approach to the study of African history and the colonialism. So Herbert Aptheker, I struggle with this one only because of the claims of his daughter. Bettina Aptheker made some claims against him that are not related to his scholarship.
That's the thing you do, Jared.
But I can't. But certain claims, like there's certain claims, like there's certain claims, like I'm not, like you can't be on my Mount Rushmore with this hanging over you, and I'm not. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Like, because we're not talking about like he snapped at someone, or he had a bad temper, or something like that. That's wildly disturbing. And I'm talking about this the idea would be that this is somebody permanently ensconced on your wall of fame. I can't be looking at somebody with that hanging over. I just can't do it.
Bro, that's like when we talk about bringing up R. Kelly, like one of the greatest singers of all time, writers and everything. But
well, for me, that's easier because he is nowhere. Like, I wouldn't equate R. Kelly to music what Aptheker is to scholarship. Like, Aptheker was a way better scholar than I think R. Kelly was a musician. So on some level, I'm biased by saying it's easier for me to get rid of R. Kelly.
Yeah.
He doesn't, like, I'm not missing his music catalog, to be perfectly honest. Like, I haven't listened to him in years. Yeah, so I don't miss him. So
but as in being able to separate the person from the art was again.
So I'm saying that's what I'm saying. I'm admitting my bias. Like I'm saying, but I also don't think I really don't think like if I don't know. I don't know because we read that allegation against Bob Marley that Rita Marley put in her book that has me really messed up because I named my daughter after him.
Oh, what did she say he did?
She said he R'd her.
What?
Yeah. And I had to call friends. Like, I've had conversations about this. Like, this is deeply, like, I'm deeply wounded by this. Oh. And never mind, obviously,
Damn.
But I learned this because I had given my daughter a book written by Rita as a gift.
Oh.
And I either never read it or suppressed the memory of that part. But she was like, Daddy,
You sure you wanted to go
read page, and she handed me the book. I was like, so we had to have like ongoing, and we're still having them ongoing conversations. Like,
could you change the Y to an I?
I said, it's on you at this point, baby girl. She's basically grown at this point. I was like, and I'm like, and you know, because I'm also hoping, honestly, and I've told them this too, I want them to do the stereotypical marry someone and take their name, because I want to get rid of this name too. I should have done that myself, but I want to get rid of this last name too. So I want this last name to end with me.
Yo, man, somebody scammed me, man. They got me, I think, at a gas pump or something, got my information on my card and got my bank account, boy. I got to go to the bank today and see about it.
Was that the story you were talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Yeah, they got me, man. I got to stop going to these hood gas stations or something, man, because they got me, boy. I was like, damn. And then my laptop, my external hard drive, I pushed the wrong button and erased my external hard drive. So then I had to pay like $80 to try to get this data redone. And I've been waiting all day. It's taking like forever. It's like on 85%.
Yeah, was it a card reader? Is that how they did it?
I think so. I believe so. Yeah.
You know, I actually started. I haven't done it in a minute.
They say go inside and pay. They say go inside and pay instead of using the ones outside.
Yeah. Well, but I also started doing the thing where you sort of yank on the reader itself to make sure it's not, because they usually hide that reader on the thing, so you can, if you shake it, it'll come off. So I started, you know, just wiggling it before I put my card, just to make sure it was the machine on the machine, you know, but at the end of the day, man, there's only so much you can do. Yeah. And it's getting more sophisticated, and they got, you know, ways you can get it without even a card reader. That's why you gotta have those RFID protected wallets and all kinds of stuff. People can get all your stuff without just walking past you.
It's like, forget a job, I could scam. Atlanta is known for scamming. Like, so many people don't got jobs here. They just figure out a way to make it. It's ridiculous.
Well, this is why I think, you know, like with everything we might end up talking about this morning, I keep coming back to, you know, I know it's never a sufficient answer, but this is why we really need everything. So much of our energy needs to be directed. So much of our overt, publicly legal activity should be directed at creating policy that makes this stuff moot. Like, if it's not quote unquote full-blown socialism, we have to have strong safety nets that make it so if somebody gets you, it's not a, you know, there's only so much damage they can do. Like it shouldn't, it shouldn't, you know, there shouldn't be, because the far end of your experience are the actual, you know, identity thefts, and people are like, you know, people really get all your money. Look at that. He felt, what was that effect in the movie where you struggle and the whole world is collapsing behind you.
You see that shit? I'm like, he's like, oh. Yo, man, I just stayed in the house all weekend, like, oh my god. But
I'm sorry to hear that, man. I know it's whack as hell, because even if just the process of getting everything done is just.
I know. I was just like, damn, I gotta go up to inside of a bank. You know how long?
And talk to people. That's so whack, man. I'm trying to. My family was joking me yesterday. They were like, "Daddy will do anything to avoid person to person." Because you stand there and then you get the rigmarole and the runaround. You just got to stand there and be like, come on, man.
And then they tell you could do this online. You be like, motherfucker, I wouldn't be in here if I could do it online.
Or even when I call the customer service and they're like, did you try this? I'm like, please, believe me, I've tried every single thing. I don't call you unless it's an absolute collapse. My world has had to collapse before I call customer service. Like, please, I've tried everything. Yeah, oh, my goodness. Yeah, man. And then, you know, but I understand the flip side is, if I was them too, I'd be acting the same way. Sit there, some whack ass job for some whack ass pay, probably some whack ass health benefits, dealing with people complaining all day. I got my card stolen. I don't give a fuck about your card.
Oh, how much you had? You had a lot. You balling, huh?
You balling. I'm broke as hell sitting here working on your That's why I'm saying we need better redistribution. We can't keep leaving everything to people's individual goodwill. It's too much pressure. People out here, like you said, there's too much joblessness and broke. People getting shot up by quote unquote federal agents. It's stressful out here.
Oh man, listen. I guess we could go ahead and get ready to get into some news. You know, trust me, man. Meet to your supervisor.
I mean, what I'm saying, run me your supervisor. Give me somebody who could actually. I need to talk to a boss.
Yeah. Oh, always. I'm always like that. I appreciate your candor right here. But,
I mean, like, look here, Michael. ID number 1737. Just run through your script real quick so we can get to the part where you go tell me you can't do this and you need somebody to help and get your supervisor. Let's speed this up.
And then I'll be nice. I'm like, do you have anybody around that can help me get this done? Because you're not helping. Oh my goodness.
Exactly. Yeah, bro, look, this is real. This background is real. I'm trying to keep this together.
That's the communist background.
That's my communism, son.
Oh shit! Well, I'm over here trying to decorate and put lights and shit up in the back. He got natural skylight in his.
You know what I'm saying? Look at that! It stays sunrise over here.
Oh my goodness!
With my tree. Where's that tree at? Over here.
Oh yeah.
No, I just had to hit him. I hit him with the woo.
Oh.
Woo!
Back to reality. They ain't ready, man. They ain't ready. Yo, so let's go ahead and get to it. I hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope y'all staying safe. I know it's a lot going on in Minnesota and all different places, in Philly and in the
Howard County, man.
Okay, well, we got to get to it. So let's go ahead and get to it and bust them in the head with some news right here on no other than the Remix Morning Show. Remix on the remix. Y'all know how we do it. Right here, right now. Let's go.
Talk like a champion. What a piece of body, girl. How will you get it from? Knock on your engine. From papa pam pam, girl. We would be more than time to take it and lead you to the promised land. With 20-foot diamond, all you got to do is be true. So let's go respond. Satisfy your emotion. At the for the press, instantly she no hold and talk, and she no got time of us.
Yeah. Let me take you to a time and place, y'all. Let me take you back to 1995. We talk about with the man them called Buju Banton of the album Till Shiloh. Yes, this is Walk Like a Champion. And this is the Remix Morning Show. I go by the name of the Ear Doctor. Thank you all for tuning in. Hit that like, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, go to patreon.com. Become a member over there. Give footage that's rare. And donate where? At blkliberationmedia.org. Yes, go and donate and get you some gear while you over there. Get pressed to death. It's getting cold out, y'all. Go get you a hoodie. Why not? Rock out for the remix. Rock out for all the different shows we got right here. Now let's get back to it. Yeah. It's me and my little production. You know, I'm trying my little beats I put together. So
I love it.
The copyright joint.
Keep it up. Keep it up. I love it. And the promos and all of that. Good work.
No doubt. So where we starting off first?
You know, I honestly need the new link to the run sheet. Isn't there a new run sheet link?
I don't think she did one for this.
And Erica's not back, but I will say this. I don't know. You know, I'm not going to bother Erica, future almost Dr. Brown, because I want to tell folks, I don't want to say, I mentioned this the other day. Speaking of which, I don't want to overstep my bounds, but I would just like to suggest that folks, if you have the availability, if you are at all available and have the possible flexibility in your schedule on February 3rd, Tuesday, February 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern, just put a little block off an hour, Tuesday, February 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern. And if there is a certain announcement that comes in the next few days, you'll want that time blocked off. The only other thing I'll say in association with that is that almost Dr. Erica Brown has submitted her dissertation, is set to defend. And I've had the privilege and the honor of sitting on her committee and reading her final work. And it is legitimately groundbreaking. I thought we was going to get music for it. No, I'm just saying it's legitimately groundbreaking, and you know, salute to her. So if she's not available to do run sheets, I get it, because the work she's producing is really phenomenal. And it's just putting another nail in this black capitalist coffin, and folks are just gonna they're just gonna have another strong body of work that they're gonna have to just work that much more hard to avoid.
Look who's about to come on. All right. Let me
send her the link.
Send her the link.
Send her the link. So yeah. I can't. I'm
excited about the new season of Brokish coming up. You know what I'm saying?
I am too, and it's going to be and you know, I don't know. I wonder. I'm interested to see the dynamic between Erica and Amber once Erica is fully credentialed.
Oh, you think is Amber going to be smarter?
You know, because sometimes, you know, there'd be some PhD envy, and you know, lawyers with their JD like to think, you know, some JD PhD beef in these streets. And, you know, those two wonderful sisters do take little shots at one another, as friends are prone to do. Like they have the, you know, so you never know. You never know. It's going to be, but the John Hope Bryants of the world are going to have to work that much more hard to avoid almost Dr. Erica Brown and Brokish and all that work.
I want to see her go head to head this time, more like, all right, so you said this, bam, 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 bam.
Oh no,
bam.
He can't. That was the whole thing. That was the beauty of his accidental appearance on their show last year. That was the point. He thought he didn't know who he was dealing with. And instead of adjusting himself and comporting himself appropriately, he fell into this whole the some call it in the atheist debate spaces, the fallacy of authority, where he claimed that he had some authority that Erica and Amber just didn't understand, and he had no idea who he was talking to. And it was one of the most beautiful. Honestly, it's one of the most beautiful, popcorn worthy, sit back and laugh at exposures of someone who is so arrogant.
Bruh, if y'all could just do clips of Erica's expressions while he's talking, that'd be enough.
Actually, no, I don't know if it would work, because I thought she was so professional. Like I thought I don't think she gave the faces that she should have been given. But we can ask her herself.
Because she definitely gives face. Let's give it up for Erica Brown. Oops, I hit the wrong button. Let me get that together. There we go.
There it is. Almost Dr. Brown. Good morning.
Almost.
Good morning. Ear Doctor, are you hating on me these days? I feel like
I be loving on you. I be loving on you. Ain't I always bigging up Brokish and talking about how great the show is?
You are, but you didn't send me the link this morning.
But
so
wait, I was in the middle of, what time did you do it? In the middle of me starting the show?
No, I did it before the top of the hour.
What was that? A minute before? Why are we getting on live and doing this?
It was glory. That's a good word for it. Sweary fairy.
This is family.
Good morning, Erica. How are you?
Good morning to you, lovely gentlemen. I don't know that I've.
Let's woosah and bring in positive energy.
Okay, I'm sorry.
There we go.
I'm sorry. I'm coming in hot and it's cold outside. So let me relax.
I
You're
get
right,
it. I
Air
mean,
Doctor.
menopause and all that stuff be happening. So
Wow.
First of all, it's perimenopause for me, sir.
perimenopause. Yeah.
So get it together.
Hey, brother, I'm at the age where there's a lot of sisters around me doing it, so I feel very comfortable bringing that up.
Wow. Just to hate though.
Anyway, let's get back to it. What's going on with your scholarship, Miss Brown?
First of all, I always want to thank Jared because he's so generous with his words, more generous than he should be. And I think that he sets a bar that I'm not going to be able to clear. So, yeah, but what's been going on? It is cold AF out here in Dallas. Let me just say that.
What is this? 50 degrees?
Sir, it's like no, it's like 2.
What?
It's not. This is not a joke.
It's really hit the South then. No, I slept.
It came through here first. No, right now it's 17. It feels like 6, but like at midnight it was like 2. But anyway, it's fine. And the kids don't have school for 2 days. Monday, it's like today and tomorrow they're out of school because there's ice on the roads, and of course nobody can drive on ice, but especially not us. And so, sadly, Jared was asking about the news. Sadly, I didn't know you needed a run sheet for Mondays, Jared, because I thought you always did your thing like freestyle. But if I know that, I'll do that.
No, honestly, there's not been enough forethought into it, so don't worry about it. I was just saying in general. I just realized this morning that I didn't have it, and the crutch. So, but it's so intermittent. The Mondays, unfortunately, for now, have to be intermittent. So it's not worth the permanent effort. But
okay, because for you, I would do it.
Oh, like, thank you very much. But I do want to rewind because you got away with something, and I do have to rewind just quickly. Mrs. almost Dr. Brown, I have had the privilege of reading your work. So this I appreciate the humility and the self-deprecation or whatever you want to call it, but I've read the work. So I'm not out here I don't do the false praise. I've already told you, and I'll say it publicly. If I didn't think it was this good, I would find other ways of talking about it. I wouldn't falsely say all of this if I didn't think it was. And I'm telling you, as soon as people see it, they're going to be like, he was right. And that's really Erica, what it's all about.
Is it hard
people saying Jared was right?
Is it hard for you to take props, Erica?
I don't know that. Okay,
yes.
Here's
just
the
say
thing.
Yes.
No, let me explain. I am in this collective with people like Jared, really smart people, right? Like here you have like Ricky, you have Dr. CBS, you have even Kamal.
Yeah, doctor.
Even clip that part. Even Kamal.
Ouch.
I'm saying like Jackie, really very smart people who know what they're talking about.
You're forgetting one.
Principled people who are like
Continue. I just sound like you forgot one.
And so, ear doctor, I have probably given you praise before. I have.
And this should be that funny, Jared.
When other people question your utility on this show, not me. I know the value you bring.
All right.
And I have said that. So
continue. My bad. Continue.
But you're not no scholar. Like, let's come on.
Whoa. Oh, damn. Like you could have stopped there and you ain't even had to throw in that last shot. What? Ouch. I got a degree for Morris Brown, sweetheart. Let's get that straight.
I know you do.
And I need Jared to stop laughing so hard. Yo, anyway, go ahead, Erica. I feel disrespected. I'm going to go get me a refill of coffee.
I didn't mean to disrespect. I'm not even trying with him. So what I'm saying is the bar is high. I have the thing that I'm studying for my PhD. I didn't study before. So I have an MBA. So I've always been into business, marketing, that kind of thing. And so for me to move to sociology, start over, try to start a new career, do this thing, I'm new to this. So it makes me very uncomfortable to come and try to act like I know things that I just don't feel like I know. So it's not that I'm trying to be self-deprecating or anything like that. It's just I am very immature in the game. And so I don't want to act like I've been in it a long time.
Okay, so that's fine. I mean, so you lack some longevity. That's fine. But that's not a statement on the quality of the work. And that's all I'm talking about. So and I would flip your point. So I'll accept the praise and the association with the brilliant names you listed, but that would be my point. That's why if anybody is qualified to assess the quality of your work, let it at least start with me. And as soon as ever others get a chance to read it, they'll agree. And it doesn't mean, look, as I've said to you, all of us have other things, we would say, oh, I might have wanted to say it this way, or I might have wanted to see that argument or seen that. But that's always the case with everybody's everything. But no one will be able to deny the quality of the work and this important contribution you're making. So that's why I'm saying, that's fine. You can acknowledge, that your relative newness, but I don't know. So what? I mean, that's why they have, in sports, they have the Rookie of the Year trophy. You know what I'm saying? Like this is Rookie of the Year scholarship worthy type stuff. So if that's how you want to, that's fine. But again, my point is, it doesn't really matter. Objectively speaking, when people get a chance to read it, they will see. And so that's why I'm just encouraging that however you want to do it, maybe the dissertation will just be made available and people can read it when it's finished and published and all of that and all, or whatever you want to do with public scholarship or articles or your work on Brokish. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. And you mentioned Brokish. We do have a new season coming out February 1st, Black History Month. So yeah, in this season we're talking all about legacy. So that's sort of the thread.
Mean? What does that mean?
So we have been or will be looking at some institutions. So whether it's education or the Black church or whether it's family, and we're looking at as we're thinking about what legacy we want to have for future generations, our children, what are the things that we want to keep and what are the things we want to throw away? So what are those things that come out of those institutions that serve us well and what are the things that don't? And so that's kind of what we're going to be looking at.
Sound like generational wealth.
Don't do that. Why would you do that? See, this is what I'm talking about, your doctor.
Yeah, that's wild.
And the other thing, and this is the other thing about Ear Doctor that makes me so mad is that I actually, Ear Doctor shows up in my dissertation more than I would like him to because he's really insightful. That's the thing. I'm like, he actually shows up because he had important things to say.
It is amazing. And I was, this was actually one of the fights that we had off the record. I don't mean to bring our private stuff into the streets, but I was saying, why are there so many references to Ear Doctor in this dissertation? That's
you don't know who Ear Doctor is in this dissertation because we don't call him by name. We don't know who you would be guessing if you try to figure that out who he is.
They might be, but I saw it and I was like, how could this be? But his contributions are unavoidable. So in the end, they are legitimately placed, and therefore,
But I think you were about to talk about the news, and honestly, with us being snowed in and me thinking about getting ready for side note before I go here. So Jared has already told y'all know this, that he's on my committee. And, Jared is also just a very public guy. And so we were having this conversation about, should I invite Black Liberation Media to the defense or should I not? And so y'all, that's the question on the table for today is, should I drop the link for people to come by? But look, again, if I invite y'all, don't act crazy and don't talk bad about me. But that's the question on the table: is should I invite Black Liberation Media to my defense?
So I was with Renee on this, saying yes, and I went through some of the history that I'm aware of as it relates to public defenses of people's dissertations. I shared with Erica that I would have, when I did mine, I would have invited the world if it was an option. Like, I was like, yes, let's
He said,
go.
I would have had it at Madison Square Garden.
Absolutely, I would have had it at Madison Square Garden. And it was this is an interesting idea. A Patreon special. That's not a bad idea. That patrons of Black Liberation Media or Brokish or both would get the link. But the short of it is that there are histories of people who knew in advance they were going to have both positive or contentious defenses, where bringing people from the community was encouraged, and it is often allowed and welcomed. So if it at the time I was defending, there was never there was no virtual option, but who came? I know my wife was there, but but so I would encourage,
I know you would,
you to do it. And because, as I've also said, that unless you have a particularly trifling committee, the defense is not meant to be contentious, that most of the issues should have been known and dealt with in advance. So it's not like defense is maybe even, I think, maybe a wrong term for it. But I think it should be a public sort of coronation of sorts. It should be, the intellectual coming out party, or whatever you want to call it. Like, it should be a celebration, and that the committee is there to sort of co-sign with authority that you did it, and they're showing us that you did it, and you're showing us that you did it. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. And look, I don't see anyone in this chat that is saying no. And who in this chat would let anybody talk crazy?
Well, so people who come, my chair did tell me that. He's like, no, they can't ask no questions. So
that's true. Right.
People can come, but they can't ask questions, which fair and great. I mean, theoretically, they could ask questions in the chat, but not questions that I would have to engage with. So I don't know. I'm thinking about it.
Say yes.
Please.
Uh-oh.
So no, please do. But I was wondering, Jerry, you saw my son's going on up in the DMV area.
He's moving us to news.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, he's adding value as a producer. I'm on board with it.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well,
but
folks, stay tuned.
Actually, I was coming to that. I have not looked at anything. I've been in this house. I purposely avoided the news. And I know, people can judge me, whatever, the privilege of being able to avoid the news, but I did.
No, I'm not on top of that much either, but I will start with, what is among the biggest stories is the killing of Alex Pretty, by ICE in Minnesota, Minneapolis, said that he was killed on Saturday, and that he was an intensive care nurse at VA hospital who cared deeply about people and was upset about Trump's crackdown in his city. I'm not going to play the video. There's a lot of video out of it that shows how unnecessary it was. But the claims, of course, are that he had brought a loaded weapon to legally, I should remind, to the rally, and that this was part of why ICE agents are claiming they were justified in shooting him, I think, over 10 times. And I know there's been in my circles some commentary and even jokes about this, but I've actually seen, what seems to be what I would describe as a shift in the response in some of the public discussion based on what is now the second white person being killed recently. I think at least 2 by ICE agents recently. And, you know, I was even watching the Legal Eagle channel that I watch from time to time, and the dude was doing a special report, couldn't even get through it without crying. Like, you know, like he said the title of his video was "The Killing Broke Him." And I say that to say that in addition to some other videos I'm seeing, I don't really know what's going on, but there seems to be some very interesting and at times increasingly hostile responses, at least in video and claims. So I don't know. I don't pretend to know enough about this person or this incident or this case. I do believe that it's at least been reported that his last words were to the woman to his right, or I think that he was attempting to help and asking her if she was okay, and that's apparently his last words before ICE agents killed him. So
So when you pulled up the article, I had, of course, I've heard his name. I heard just a little bit about what happened. So again, I've not read any stories about it, but it's fascinating to me that he was a VA nurse. I did hear that he was a nurse, but I didn't know he was a VA nurse. And so imagine working for the same state that kills you. Like, that is just a little bit wild in and of itself, but also making me think about how ICE is sort of doing this thing where they act like they're sort of acting like they're not part of the state in a lot of different ways. Like ICE is acting like, or I guess the powers that be are acting like ICE is different. And so they're like, no, they're different from us. They're not us. Like, they're this sanctioned yet independent organization that's working. And so it's just interesting to see the gymnastics that people go through to justify what are clearly like extrajudicial killings, like right in front of our eyes, and for them to talk about the ways that people deserved it, or, you know, they were escalating, or he had a weapon, even though weapons are allowed at a protest, like all of these different things. It's just fascinating to see from the outside. And I know people are outraged. Like, I've seen a lot of in my group chats with some of my friends, people are like, I just can't believe this is happening. Can you believe this is America? And it's like, where have we been? For us to ask, is this America been America? Like, these are our founding principles. So I don't understand of course I understand the outrage, but I don't understand the surprise that so many people have had in witnessing these things, because this is what we do.
So it's interesting. Like, I fully agree with you, but I actually do understand the surprise given the way narrative and media and story and framing have all taken place over the last however long ever. And what I mean by that is that particularly affluent white Americans, it is very easy for them, I think, to be siloed into narrative media spaces that make it confusing for them. I keep thinking of that line that Charles Mills wrote on The Racial Contract, that white people have created a world they can no longer interpret. They're consensual hallucinations, as he called them. You know, so my point being that they create a world where they can't interpret what's happening to Black people, to brown people, to poor people, to working people, to immigrants. They can't. So when they see this stuff and then they see their own getting killed, they're like, what? They're like, it's almost like I'm used to seeing if you kill a Black man or you kill a Black woman on the side of the road, or you know whatever you're doing. Like, we're almost, but now it's that's why I was saying I use that Legal Eagle example, you know, intentionally, because dude covers a lot of stuff, horrific stuff legally on his channel. And this case had him do a special, like he's breaking down report outside of his winter vacation house or wherever the hell he was. Like, and I'm like, yeah, this is pretty disturbing to you, because this end of empire's violence you're not accustomed to. So in that regard, and that's why whenever it's like another version of when that trope almost of when something happens and white people are like, I didn't know black people were so upset. I just didn't know.
I got a quick question.
Yeah.
Is like slave catchers the bounty hunters? Are they hired by the state, or they are all independent? Because that's like what ICE is, right?
I've seen that comparison made. I've seen this one being made too, with this guy walking around, this head of ICE, walking around in his obvious, wannabe Nazi uniforms. That and again, to what I understand both of your points to be, these are the legacies of this country. This is, we talked about it on Saturday with Renee, that look how quickly ICE has been able to fill its ranks and find people, even black and brown people, willing to go out here and pull guns on people for a check or for the thrill of it, or both. And it's like this legacy of slave catching, of eugenics that the Nazis learned from, and racial segregation that the Nazis, everybody comes to this country for advice on how to do this. And here in Israel, they come. This is where you get, So yeah. I mean, it shouldn't be a surprise. But to your point, Erica. But I get. I get how.
And I'm talking about to black people, right? Like, in terms of, is it a surprise to black? These are black people I'm talking about.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Oh my God, I can't. Yeah. So that's the part to me I don't understand, because I'm like, how long have you been black and how long have you been watching? But to your point about the white people, though, I do feel like these, like the white people who go to a protest, and I'm not trying to parse out white people, liberals versus not or whatever, but I do think there is a distinct difference between the white people who might be protesting ICE and the white people who are joining ICE. And so to some degree, I guess I can understand why those people might be surprised, right? Like if you're a liberal white person versus ICE, who in my mind, we're probably talking more about like Christian nationalists. And so I don't think Christian nationalists view liberal white people as their own. And so I think for those white people to see people getting killed, it's probably like, that wasn't my man anyway. So they don't necessarily, in my mind, have to do any gymnastics because they're like, that wasn't our guy. And so maybe it would take the killing of somebody that is more closely aligned from a values perspective to who the stereotypical, prototypical ICE agent is, before maybe somebody would care. But I don't think shooting liberals would necessarily matter. I don't know. Again, I don't study this.
Right. Well, where shall we go from here?
Oh, I don't know. I thought you were.
No, I'm done.
No, that's cool. The only other thing I don't really have, I thought I would bring up. First of all, I do want to say shout out to speaking of our circles here, Two Blacks' new article on nonviolence is violence too, on grassroots. What is the grassroots community thinking? I keep forgetting how the blog's name, but the CMB outlet. And I'll be talking to him tomorrow about that article. So salute to him for that. And what did I have here that I thought? Oh, I did have something that I thought I would ask. Yeah, go ahead.
Did y'all see those streets in Minnesota though? The whole rally this week, they was outside. Like, damn,
I did see it.
It was cold as hell too.
Now this is a question. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, it's interesting to me how these things happen in Minnesota. Y'all have heard the term Minnesota nice. Like if you've ever spent any time in Minneapolis, right? Like everything is very polite. Everything is very, not Stepford, but everything is just very, you don't feel any tension in the air. Like it's just all very pleasant on the surface. And so I'm just like, what is it in this particular, I mean, of course I understand like you have the immigrant situation happening, but what is it about Minnesota where I feel like these things keep happening?
That's a good question, because I don't know. I was like, damn, Minnesota again? It's that Midwest. What is it about the Midwest?
I don't know. And where's the? I heard the Obamas made a statement. Jared, do you have it? Have you seen
Oh
it?
no. Oh wait, I will look for it though. Hold on. Did the
Oh, so
Obama say something?
it was a general strike. It was a strike that was going on in
Yeah, on
Minnesota.
the 23rd, there was a day-long strike and
Oh, so it wasn't all for ICE out there. It was just something else going on.
no, I think they were striking because of ICE. So it
Uh,
was a protest. And I just hope what was this in the private chat?
Oh, that was for later.
Oh, okay. So yeah, all right. So let's see. We got let's look at this here. According to the Daily Mail, Barack Obama makes rare political statement condemning Trump's administration over Alex Pretty's Minnesota shooting. See, look, it even got Obama's out. Barack Obama has made a rare political statement condemning Trump. The killing of Alex Pretty is a heartbreaking tragedy, the former president wrote on X in the wake of the most recent horror Sunday. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. No, that's I hate that framing.
The one on the bottom that I just sent, Jared, that's the full.
That's the full one. Okay, good.
Yeah,
Let
I
me
think
get to that one.
from his Twitter
Yeah,
page.
there we go. That's better. Thank you. Yeah, the killing of Alex Pretty is a heartbreaking tragedy. It should also be a wake-up call to every American, regardless of party, that many of our core values as a nation are increasingly under assault. Again, I do not like that framing. Here's the full statement. Federal law enforcement and immigration agents have a tough job, but Americans expect them to carry out their duties in a lawful, accountable way and to work with rather than against state and local officials to ensure public safety. That's not what we're seeing in Minnesota. In fact, we're seeing the opposite. For weeks now, people across the country have been rightly outraged by the spectacle of masked ICE recruits and other federal agents acting with impunity and engaging in tactics that seem designed to intimidate, harass, provoke, and endanger the residents of a major American city. These unprecedented acts, which even the former top lawyer of the Department of Homeland Security in the first Trump administration has characterized as embarrassing, lawless, and cruel, have now resulted in the fatal shootings of 2 U.S. citizens. And yet, rather than trying to impose some semblance of discipline and accountability over the agents they've deployed, the president and current administration officials seem eager to escalate the situation while offering public explanations for the shootings of Mr. Pretty and Renee Good that aren't informed by any serious investigation and that appear to be directly contradicted by video evidence. This has to stop. I would hope that after this most recent tragedy, administration officials will reconsider their approach and start finding ways to work constructively with Governor Walz and Mayor Frey, as well as state and local police, to avert more chaos and achieve legitimate law enforcement goals. In the meantime, every American should draw inspiration from the wave of peaceful protests in Minneapolis and other parts of the country. They are a timely reminder that ultimately it is up to each of us as citizens to speak out against injustice, protect our basic freedoms, and hold our government accountable. But as
My
we pointed out
man.
on Saturday, yeah. As we pointed out on Saturday, though, with Renee and Amber Sherman, that is the other Amber on the platform, Obama has as much guilt in perpetuating these policies and laying a precedent for these policies as everyone else, and has engaged violently in repressing movements and governments here and abroad. So that's but it makes sense that they would want to take advantage of it. That is the Democrats, and that he would finally speak out when 2 American citizens are killed. He didn't even bother to mention the others killed because I guess if you're not legal, quote unquote, you don't count. But yeah,
Of course, I think very few of us are lovers of Obama for sure, and I always find it fascinating how he can say so much and so little.
mm,
Like Obama used a lot of words to tell us nothing. And also I'm thinking about how just because they still had their sports ball games, all the things that were happening in spite of all the things that are happening. And it always reminds me of how Obama made that call to the NBA and was telling them don't strike. And I'm like, whether the things are big and small, he can get involved. but when it really mattered, like, I don't know, he makes me so mad that I don't have good words for him. But yeah.
And as you've helped remind us, he also laid a lot of the precedent for a lot of this financial literacy nonsense that we still deal with.
He, picked up the ball and ran with that
picked up
too.
the
But I
ball and ran with
mean,
it. Yeah.
he's a king of respectability, right? What is it? My brother's keeper, or whatever his organization is. Is that what it's called?
I think it was that, right? Brother's keeper or something like that. Yeah.
So, I mean, look, what can you expect from the man?
What can you expect? So yeah, look, I just would want to say, just to put out in the ether, I'm encouraging and supportive of all the protests and hope people continue, and that I hope it that these and other horrors will lead people to more actually left radical political organization. We need the world. There's the only hope is for overt political activity to include real structural change that makes this kind of stuff impossible, or at least far less likely. And for that, we would need different forms of leadership. And I think this brief review of Obama is exactly the point. But
do you think?
Yeah.
How likely or how pervasive do you think a general strike could be? Like, what percentage of the population do you think would engage in that kind of activity?
I honestly don't know. I don't like to share as much as I try to put a lid on my skepticism or cynicism or pessimism.
Sure.
But the amount of unionization, pre-existing organized unionization, is so low that I don't know. And then beyond for there to be a general strike that is beyond one announced day, which is what I think it would require, there has to be some level, I would think, forms of organization that don't currently exist to help people make it through and stay on the correct side of the picket lines. But I'm not sure, and I have to be clear in that I'm so disconnected at this point from the spaces where this would be properly assessed that I don't know. But I would want to encourage that energy, and I'm damn sure down to support that energy. But I'm unfortunately just not. I don't know. What do you think?
Unfortunately, I share your lack of optimism. And I'm unemployed, right? So I'm general striking every day. So that like, for me, not hard. But I don't know. I'm always thinking about people on the margins, right? Like in certain states, like the one I live in, like sometimes you are prohibited from striking. Like there are all of these other dynamics at play. And so you do this thing and it's like, that you're not just striking for a week or whatever it is, the announced or unannounced part. But like when you come back from it, you don't have anything to come back to. So I'm just not sure how people would move in like where you actually have to put your livelihood on the line. And I get it, right? I get it. But maybe we should just put Jamal Bryant in charge, because I feel like he could organize. He could organize us in the right way.
Put all the Bryants between Jamal and John Hope, we will get free.
And Cheyenne Bryant for our mental health. She can come and help us as well. But what we really need is a break.
I was gonna say, if that don't work, we just have to go back to the ear doctor.
Hey, I'm here for you. Yeah, it's wild out there. A lot of people outside in these streets, and guess we're gonna take a break real quick. I don't know what I was doing back there, but I was doing something. Let's get to it right here on No Other Than the Remix Morning Show. Fight to powers that be. Boy, I tell you, man, you had a lot of different strikes, a lot of different things going on, and we still here. There's still a lot of stuff to be organizing and getting behind and making sure that, they don't get the upper hand like they have been for years. All right, hit that like button, subscribe if you're new to the channel. We got a bunch of dope shows here on Black Liberation Media. Speaking of, I was watching Real Talk and seen Baba Akinyele on there, and I said, oh, let me see what they're talking about. Matter of fact, let me take you over there so you can also see what was being said on Real Talk with Dr. Sudiata.
How you became the Black scholar activist Akinyele Umoja.
I'll try to do it briefly. But I was born in Los Angeles, California. My father was a minister in the Church of Christ. He was one of the first. Let me see. My father was a sharecropper until he was in his 20s, and then he got the opportunity to go to Nashville Christian Institute when he was
where was he a sharecropper?
In the Mississippi Delta, a place called, he was born in a place called Alligator, Mississippi, and the family sharecropped through the Mississippi Delta and Arkansas Delta. Okay. And so when he was in his 20s, and he hadn't gone to high school yet, he was able to go to high school, Nashville Christian Institute, and then he became one of the first Black men to go to Pepperdine College in Los Angeles. That's where he met my mother, who was a valedictorian in her high school.
They talking history over there, y'all. Y'all be to go check out that interview on Real Talk right here on Black Liberation Media. So go check them all out. And as I said before, go to the website, donate, show your love. You can also drop something right here in the chat room. That's how we keep this thing going, y'all. All right, keep it up. And let's get back to it right here on the Remix Morning Show.
Baba AK.
Yeah, got a chance to work with him a lot of times here in Atlanta. A lot of different organizations he deals with. Got to do the audio and DJ some events. Good brother. He actually came to the joint, Erica. The what was it back? The National Black Radical Conference. Oh yeah, that conference. A lot of letters.
Wow.
So no, he's very dope, and part of the wing of academia I like to remind folks of when there's that sort of blanket condemnation of everybody with a university job or a .edu email address. There are those not part of that machinery. So yeah.
Do all y'all African historian do y'all have a whole crew, like y'all network with each other from different HBCUs and colleges?
Oh yeah, there's all kinds of. I mean, my experience is that it's no different than anything else.
Erica.
It's cliques. Everybody has cliques and groups and professional associations that they work with. How
was the conversation about, more when they're like, okay, you can't teach this in Black studies, and was that more high schools or not college?
I'm not aware of.
Absolutely university.
Oh yeah.
Like in the state of Texas, there's a prohibited list of words that people used to use in their scholarship, like equity, like gender, and they can't say that. Yes, literally. And so people can't say those words anymore. And so when they're trying to get grants or they're talking about their classes, they're coming up with like euphemisms for things like equity and gender, because the state won't allow them to say those things and put those things on their syllabi for sure.
Oh, damn. I misunderstood the question. So yeah, fortunately I'm able to avoid that level of, at least for the moment.
Do you think it's because you're at HBCU where you get a little more leeway or no?
I do think the sort of the contradiction is that there is some leeway because there's less attention, but at the same time there can be at times there can be an intense level of scrutiny because these institutions are neoliberal and want to protect their own access to the bag and want to suppress anything coming from their campuses that would put them in that targeted lane. So they want, the administration of most of these universities want a friendly relationship with the state, and in some cases need them. Even the private ones. Howard needs federal government money. Morgan State needs Maryland state money. So if there's elements from these spaces that start raising certain questions and saying things and making noise, there will be some, come to my office type stuff.
So you have to be careful talking about like the Haitian Revolution, David Walker's
So
appeal, the
in
drums
my
in Virginia.
classrooms, no. So that's where I was. So initially, when I heard your question, I thought you were talking about within the field of Black studies.
What you about to say, Erica?
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
No, I was just gonna say in Jared's classroom, a totally different situation. But like here in Texas, the classroom is not a safe space. Like people have over the past few months, people have been fired. Professors have been fired because students have recorded them, have taken those recordings to the administration. The administration didn't support the professors, and they were expelled. Some of them have been brought back because there were lawsuits, and it was like, not legal to do so, but that doesn't stop the administration from doing it. That doesn't stop the harm to you professionally when you get dragged out of your job.
Yeah, there was a new story that I was reading it earlier this morning, actually, about the threat to tenure and a lot of these threats. So faculty have been removed for their statements about Charlie Kirk or about Palestine. Some with tenure have gotten their jobs back, but they've had to go through some rigmarole and they've had to have tenure. Those without tenure have lost their jobs over that. And a lot of it does come from someone in the class or outside the university seeing something they said publicly on Twitter or wherever, and then reporting them to the university. My thing is, I've joked before, the threats to me personally have come from the reverse hashtag community that have tried to get me fired in that way by tagging more. Oh yeah, they've tagged Morgan State University and they said, how do you have this kind of professor teaching there?
What?
This radical and Pan-African, all this kind of stuff, that kind of stuff. So they've this pro-immigrant professor is teaching at a Black university. Why would you allow, that kind of stuff, with the hopes that the administration would see that and come,
So that's the question. How do you stay politically biased and do history? I mean, I guess that's really what they're trying to be like. Don't be political, just teach the history. But how do you be biased about I don't see how you're able to do that.
I haven't had, knock on wood or whatever, I haven't paid much. I've been fortunate enough not to pay attention to that. So within my own classroom, the doors close. I do largely what I want, and I haven't really worried about repercussion in that way. But I am aware that it does happen, and I am aware that elsewhere in the academic universe that it does happen. So I have just, I don't know, almost maybe even naively just continued to press forward. Now, what I do things to try to cover myself. So I will be very clear. I tell students all the time, you are going to get my biased views. This is not an objective approach. I'm going to assign you things to read and to review that might challenge my points of view, but it's only going to be in the context of me using that to be critical of it. But I'll say, but you don't have to agree to get an A. I will always invite them to be critical. I'll invite them to bring in other materials. I'll invite them to challenge what I'm presenting them. So in that way, I try to cover myself from some sort of false claim or whatever. And there are other little things, in terms of the ease with which I engage students and stuff like that to sort of, I don't know.
Disarm them.
Disarm is a good word. Protect, inoculate, whatever. But yeah, I don't know. And then but at the same time, I don't know. I'm saying I've experienced. I do have to say that sometimes the repression you get is not clearly identifiable in its origin. So some of the things that I've suffered, that I've experienced, I know I have to go through speculation or off the record commentary in terms of why it's happening. So like, it won't necessarily be some overt documented Dr. Ball is is an anti-Zionist and being pro-Palestinian in the classroom, and therefore we want to punish him and remove him. It would just be, you now have a fifth class. You are not selected for this committee, or you are made to be on a committee, or you don't get invited to this, or you aren't platformed on this, or you don't get the grant, or you don't get the reward, or you aren't acknowledged when they do things, or you like little thing, or you just get pushed into a corner. You don't get the merit increased pay. You don't get whatever. It's like, and then or worse. And then these things happen, and they're not necessarily attached to a particular action. So I do need to leave that little bit of room in saying that I don't know when things happen to me or others, if it's in fact because of something we did or didn't do. It just be that way. And you just have to, kind of figure it out as you try to pick up the pieces of your career.
Well, thanks for going down that wormhole with me. And please protect our teachers and our professors out here. We need them. All right.
So, Jared, I put two things in. If you could pull up the first one and play it, and then the second one. Or
absolutely. I do want to say that I want to make sure there is something that, since I'm very glad you're here, I want to have you review with me before we leave this morning and get your opinion on. So I just put a pin in that. So here we go. This is, I think, the first.
It should be a video.
Yeah. Oh boy. Dr. Oz, Alabama has no OBGYNs in many of their counties, so they're doing something pretty cool. They're actually having robots do ultrasounds on these pregnant moms. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Has no OBGYNs in many of their counties. So they're doing something pretty cool. They're actually having robots do ultrasounds on these pregnant moms. So we can actually get those images back to the big center. So we know if the child has a problem, and we know if that mother's at risk. We have one of the highest maternal mortality rates in the world, in the country with the best medicine in the world. It's often stated, people ask, does healthcare stink in America? Well, they don't like it. Would you leave America to get healthcare elsewhere? Nobody leaves. We have the best healthcare.
That's a lie.
We don't want rural America left behind anymore. Alabama.
That's an absolute lie. I don't know the percentages or the numbers per se, but I know a good amount of people who leave the country to get healthcare elsewhere.
And if you don't believe it, go to Tijuana.
And
you will see them.
Exactly. Or sometimes Canada, sometimes Cuba, sometimes, so I don't even know. All right. But the first thing I got to say is this is Oprah's fault.
So much is her fault. So much.
Dr.
Phil, Dr. Oz, Tyler Perry. Okay, Tyler, I can't blame completely on Oprah. I cannot. That's unfair. But
she didn't help.
Whoa. And even though she is my problematic fave, Ayanla.
Oh my God.
So much we have to blame Oprah for.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So the other thing, and this came up in this King holiday criticism that I was involved in, that I was reminded of, that RFK used to rail all the time about the lies the federal government have been involved in related specifically to the assassination of his father. And he has said, Sirhan did not kill my father, and that these files need to be opened and investigated and all of that. Now that he's up there sitting next to the president of the United States and running, some would argue, destroying the national healthcare system even more than it already is, has anybody, I would love to see if somebody would raise this additional contradiction. What did I say? Did I say his father? I meant his uncle. What I said? No, I meant his father. I meant his father. Never mind his uncle. I'm talking about his dad. He said Sirhan didn't kill him. And I've seen some actually compelling arguments that make that case very well. But the point being is, now that you're sitting there, I'm like, instead of trying to get red dye or blue, yellow or whatever out of the whatever, how about finding out what happened to your pops?
And honestly, I don't care about any of it. I just want him to go away. I want him to go away. RFK, I want him to go away. But if you will bring up the article about this notion of robots and ultrasounds and ultimately what are probably largely Black women, in addition to poor white women. Okay, let's see if I'll be able to read it.
Oh, do you want me to? Oh, did you? Okay, you want to
Or
read it?
if
Do you want
you
me to
if
play?
you could, or
Do you
yeah,
want
if
me
you
to?
could,
Yeah, I'll read it. Or do you want
yeah,
me
if
to
you
play this, or do
no,
you
no,
read
no, if you
it?
could just read it, yeah.
So Dr. Oz recently highlighted Alabama's plan to use robots as for ultrasounds due to a shortage of OBGYNs. The initiative is part of Alabama's use of the $203 million awarded under the federal government's Rural Health Transformation Program, which was created in the Big Beautiful Bill. According to the grant proposal, Alabama intends to allocate some of the funding for digital obstetric regionalization and telerobotic ultrasound. However, OBGYNs in the state expressed skepticism about the plan's effectiveness. This won't take care of access to maternal care. It won't decrease the mortality rate, said Dr. Lauricia Auteri, an OBGYN at Walker's Women's Specialists who serves patients in 5 rural counties. She emphasized that while the maternal mortality rate is a significant issue, robotic ultrasounds are not the solution. There may be a case where a mom may have no fluid and that the patient needs to go to the hospital. But if you're in a part of the county that doesn't have a hospital, that has an obstetrical services, now you have to drive an hour to an hour and a half to receive those services from a physician, and that did not do the ultrasound, Auteri said. If she is an hour and a half away, I still have to wait on her to get here. For us, someone is always here all the time. We live here.
So
yeah.
Of course, I think on its face, this can sound alarming, especially if you know anything about Black maternal mortality rates, if you know anything about the limited access to healthcare, especially in rural places where, like they said, you might have counties with several counties surrounding each other with no doctors. So I think on its face, it's crazy. But I think one of the things that to me is so fascinating is this idea that billionaires and other rich people have that tech solves everything. Like they just have this notion that we give people technology and put it out there, and that is going to be the panacea. And the idea, unfortunately, is so pervasive that I think many of us also have started to internalize this, that tech is going to solve everything. But tech is not solving the things that a lot of times it was set out to do. And like, so I also don't understand why, if we have hundreds of $1 million in grant money and funding, why we don't try to figure out how do we fix the access problem? Because there's clearly an access problem, right? We don't have enough training. We're not able to have people deployed in the right places. These places are often hostile to the certain types of people who we would need working in them. And it's like, we don't want to fix those issues. And it's like, let's just throw the tech out there and hope it sticks on the wall. And it's not. And ultimately what happens is that we will die. At the end of it all, is that we are going to be the ones who are going to die, not even at the hands, at the whatever you call it, of the robots.
At the devices, yeah. And again, as is said here, it sounds like money that go to the bots should go to building hospitals and hiring more medical professionals, and making the point that the article says. This is always the point. None of this technology changes the distribution of the goods and services. It doesn't help with that. So, and never mind that it's going to end up causing people jobs, which is going to make even more people, more women included, jobless, paid less than they already are. And then on top of that, having to go farther for medical care at less rates and less effectiveness, and at the hands or the tentacles or whatever the device is going to be.
And so you and I are sort of kind of at the same life stage in terms of our children in college, or, about to go in and that kind of thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And as somebody who graduated from college more than 30 years ago, did I graduate from college 30 years ago?
Oh my God.
Almost.
I mean, my
almost
PhD is 20. Yeah. Wait a minute. What is this? Damn.
28. Somebody who graduated college 28 years ago. So, okay, almost 30 years ago. I graduated from college. And I think about how when I went to school, it cost me $5,000 a year. I had a scholarship that was for $5,000 a year. So it took care of everything. That was books, that was room and board, that was all the things that it took care of. And now, as I'm preparing for my kids to go to college, at the same school that I went to is now $35,000 a year. Okay. Now, I think everybody knows that the wages have not increased 7 times, even though the cost of college has at this particular university over the past 28 years. And so I also am wondering, like, do we, especially for people who may not have gone to college or who don't have children who have been to college yet, I'm not sure that we know how expensive it is just to get an undergraduate education and how even much more expensive it is even to get a medical degree. And so I think some of us, we just don't have like, because I didn't know, right? Like I didn't know a lot of these things. So for parents and for people who are like, I want to go to school and be a doctor, and I want everybody who wants to be a doctor to go to school to be a doctor, but wow, it's expensive to go to school to be a doctor. And not only that, I think a lot of parents also don't understand that students cannot sign up for loans like they did when we went to school, right? Like if your parents were like, I'm not paying for that, you could be like, okay. And you went, you signed up for loans and, you rolled the dice on if you're going to be able to pay them back or not. But now students can't even do that. And so just the pipeline of Black doctors or poor doctors or marginalized doctors is just not there because things are so expensive. And so I'm just like, and our answer is robots. And I just
listen, if you in the audience or anyone in the world who sees this is part of that crowd that is hoping for the demise of this country, it is giving you every indication that it's helping you out. Like this is like every sign is pointing to they are trying to destroy this place because nothing is rational. It is, even from their own self-preservation, none of their choices seem logical. So but that's why again, the more I pay attention to these tech feudalists and all of that, that's why they keep talking about transhumanism and moving beyond the confines of the earth and all of that, because they're like, we're not interested in fixing this and sharing and preserving and slowing that. They're not. No, we just want to find our way to somewhere else. So, and their narratives that justify it keep trickling down, not the money, but the narratives keep trickling down to get us to find ways to accept this and to buy into it. So you have, just in terms of what we were talking about here with academia, they're part of what allows for an erasure and erosion of tenure is a general backlash against the idea of academia and higher education that permeates all different kinds of communities with various perspectives on it, that have people even among whatever community saying that, yeah, we should be in agreement with Peter Thiel and Elon Musk as they condemn higher education and talk about specified targeted training experiences for certain select people to be hired by certain select this, that, and the third. So it's and that's how you have Black and brown ICE agents shooting Black and brown people and we'll see how many more et cetera. So anyway, it's all very bizarre to me. And oh man, yeah. And exactly. And the 14 billion, speaking of ICE, we talked about it Saturday, the 14 billion being spent on ICE could absolutely go to increasing healthcare benefits and coverage and helping close these gaps. And the idea that in 2026, anywhere in the United States is so rural that you have to go 90 minutes to get healthcare is wild. Although because of traffic, damn near around here, everything's about 90 minutes to get to also, even though we're technically closer. But anyway, yeah.
Yes, very different, but yes.
Yeah. So
also,
yeah,
I was gonna say, the very top thing that I sent, if you just wanna,
where is that in the private chat?
yeah, the first one.
Ah.
But while you're pulling that up,
Mhm.
I have not done any actual research. I've not spent more than 5 minutes, but I'm fascinated by and want to learn more about this whole idea of what is this company called? Kalshi?
Mhm.
And where Kalshi CEO I've seen talking about this idea of,
Predictive markets.
yes, being able to essentially gamble on everything. Like
Mhm.
every outcome is something that we should be able to weigh in on and wager for or against. And I like add that to this idea that tech fixes everything, every problem, and then us wagering on everything. I just don't understand why we don't see this being a really big problem.
So this is part of my point. So part of what Kalshi and they've argued is that they want to monetize every disagreement. That's one of the things I've seen that they've pointed out.
Yep.
So but again, as I've thought about this, it's the overlap with the increased gambling in sports and all that. Like we've been led here. Like this is the frog in the pot thing.
Oh, we're being led everywhere.
But yeah. So, but I'm just in terms of the sports world. If we just even go back over the last 20 years, that's literally one of the fallout vaults where every aspect of life is gambling. Absolutely, it's and that's what they're saying. But we've seen sports journalism, just this one example, go from an attempt to actually be journalism to
Stephen A. Smith.
and arguments. So it's like, let's wake up in the morning and watch people argue. And then as more information comes out, they're literally paid to come up with ways to argue with somebody. Like they're not even legit arguments. They're just, let me find an oppositional stance on this issue so that we can have an argument, because we can't have two people just agreeing and commenting on and whatever.
Who's the best, Kobe or LeBron?
Exactly.
It's egregious.
Exactly. And then you have people admitting, and by the way, the stories are coming out now about Clutch Sports paying journalists to promote LeBron and to make the argument that he's better than Jordan and Kobe, which is also ridiculous. But by the way, anyway, that's my favorite thing to read in the comments on these channels is when I hate on LeBron's claim at GOAT status. But it's literally the narrative that is paid for by Clutch Sports and others to promote and to encourage, and then Kalshi and all these folks want to benefit from that, and then it's already been said.
Is even more insidious because it is like regulated by the SEC. Like this is not just people out here doing something to the side. Like the government is saying, and that's neoliberalism, right? Like the government is saying, no, look, we're gonna regulate this thing.
Let's get this. And they're saying it's going to be bigger than the actual stock market.
For sure.
So and then again, not to defend capitalism, obviously, but at least you could see where I'm just saying you could see the old style business capitalists having, a tear in their eye, because they would at least be saying, I at least made something. Like I at least exploited labor to produce a product that I would impose on somebody. Here it's like, no, this is just full-on extraction and abuse of every. But again, Marx was right. Capitalism wants to commodify. It's the original sin. Commodify everything, and dissent included. So let's get it.
This reminds me of that dollar bet on Trading Places with Mortimer.
I love that movie, Ear Doctor. One of my favorites. Top 10.
And shout out to Millennials Are Killing Capitalism and Mtume for their Imperial 80s series, where they talked about that film and others. And yeah.
But I just deep. How do they purport to keep this thing going? Because I'm sure everybody saw a couple weeks ago how the Waymos couldn't figure their way around and got stuck, right? So the Waymos were we're going crazy. And so also, don't we understand tech's ability to manipulate everything? So I don't understand ultimately how how she legitimately operates when ultimately all of these decisions are going to be driven by tech, that people are, you know, doing
All right, so let me, I know you got a story and I got it queued up, but let me jump the queue here, because I think this is actually a really good segue to something I wanted you to look at with me since you were here this morning. So part of how I would want to answer your question to help build this segue ramp is that when you ask how do they expect this, that, and third to work, is that there is almost no interest in it actually working. There is only an interest in creating yet another bubble through which they can extract more wealth. So that's part of the problem that I'm saying, not to defend the old capitalist, but the old capitalist is saying, look, I'm at least trying to build an actual car. Like Henry Ford and his white supremacist ass, like I'm trying to do genocide over here in Europe. I'm trying to build some cars too. It's like, and some tanks and stuff. But you're not even doing, you just sink in the whole. So shout out to, again, millennials and Dwayne Monroe and even the conversations I've had with Hillary Allen around the AI bubble and all this tech feudalism and all this kind of stuff. But I was watching this video the other day, and it's talking about Michael Burry, who some would remember is the famous investor from The Big Short, and he predicted the stock market crash and shorted it. He's also recently taken short positions on Nvidia and Palantir, which has been kind of funny because he's saying, I see that this is a bubble that you all have created with all this AI stuff. And he's raising kind of the question in the way that I'm talking about with you. He's not like he's again, not a revolutionary, but he's saying, I'm not supporting this stuff because I see you all creating a bubble and you're about to rip off all these people using the AI technology claim and all of that stuff. But I'm betting against you. And the Alex Karp dude from Palantir has been like cussing him out and falling apart. He's like, how are you going to short me and devalue my wonderful company? And all we're trying to do is run the military and surveil everybody. But in the context of that discussion, in this video, this guy says, I want to show you how I think the bubble works. All right. And when I saw him do this, I said, wait a minute. And now this is what I'm saying, Erica, this is perfect. You're here. And I'm asking our broader undefeated chat. Is this also a viable way of explaining our critique of the circulating dollar mythology? All right. So I want to draw a parallel between the circulating black dollar and the AI bubble as we watch this brief section of this video. Here we go.
Seen this in my recent video, but there's a fantastic meme that explains this concept. Have a look at this.
So he's explaining the concept of how, as Dwayne Monroe and others have said, there's this incestuous investment loop in the AI world, with Nvidia having its stock and its chips being boosted because it's investing in the companies that then return investment to it. And that's how this AI bubble has expanded and is likely, well, not likely, but is soon to just explode, leaving everybody holding the bag who invests in this, who didn't get out in time. All right. So that part. Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of money, how about the $20 you owe me?
Oh, yeah? Well, I only got 10, so here's 10 and I owe you 10.
Thanks. Hey, Mo, you owe me 20. Well, here's 10 and I'll owe you 10.
You owe me 20.
Here's 10, I owe you 10.
Here's the 10 I owe you.
Here's the 10 I owe you. Here's the 10 I owe you.
Good. Now we're all even.
That is exactly how Burry sees the AI companies.
Is that not the circulating dollar? And when they're standing here at the end, with the same no money that they started off with, we're back with in the context of the black community. Am I wrong in seeing it that way? Isn't that just a perfect summary of exactly what happens?
I know that was the worst Curly. That was the worst Curly. I like Shemp better than him.
That's why Ear Doctor gets all the citations in serious scholarship around the economy. That right there.
So, okay. I don't even know if that, I think that's great. But for me, the dollar is always white, and sometimes black hands can touch it. So I feel like that's good because it gives the illusion of something like I can touch the dollar because that's all y'all get to do is touch the dollar because you don't own anything that generates it. So yes, I do think that that is a good description of it, but I don't even know if they get to take possession of it in the way that they did in that video.
That was
Now listen, that's called my boy. You know nothing about that.
that you just, but you don't own nothing that creates it. Exactly. Okay. That's why that's it. That was it. That was all. That was why we can move on to your story. But I just thought that was a perfect.
It is.
Again, the video's talking about the AI bubble, but it seemed I saw that and I said, and exactly, Maggie. Damn, future Dr. Erica Brown. That's exactly what I'm saying. And Renee, right, the white hand needs to give the dollar, then appear after it circulates to take it back. That's right. That's right. Like everybody, you can hand it to each other. everybody look at the nice little toy and then give it back to me. It's like show and tell, right? It's like you can look at my little toy, but you gotta give it back.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Before we go to the story.
All right,
I'm so conflicted because I texted you the other day and I never followed up on this. So Delina, the co-founder of Brokish, and I have some classmates, or really a classmate, who created this documentary that's called What is Rich on YouTube. So and I think it's on his podcast page, the Black Money Tree podcast. He has a podcast, the Black Money Tree. Actually, which is funny now, just after what we just talked. Anyway. So he has this documentary called What is Rich? And so I don't know how many parts there are going to be. And I've only watched the first part. I think there are only 2 parts out. So I'd have to go back and watch the second part that I know is out now or should be out today. Or we could even be on the 3rd part today. But anyway, I've watched 1 part.
What is this? The $100 trillion opportunity hidden in plain sight with John Hope Bryant on there?
Listen, this is why I can't tell you anything because yes, my classmate who has the Black Money Tree podcast, he has had John Hope Bryant as a guest apparently on his show a lot of times. He's like a frequent guest to their show, friend of their show. But anyway, so the first episode comes out about what is rich, and I get really conflicted because I have conflicting thoughts about financial literacy and beliefs about financial literacy, and probably my thoughts and beliefs about financial literacy and money and wealth are probably different than yours, Jared. So for example, I think that in this society where we have tech ruling the world, where every day you get up, you have to make 100 financial decisions at least, I think you do have to understand how it works. I think that you have to spend the time, because if you don't, then the system will just extract from you, right? Like, so if you're not proactive about that thing, then you'll just lose. And I get why people don't have the time or the effort to be proactive, but I just feel like you have to do that. And to me, that means like learning the rules of the game, try to do the best with what you have. Of course, I don't believe that financial literacy is going to save us. I don't think that generational wealth is really a thing for Black people, like this kind of stuff, right? But I do think that you have to learn the rules of the game because we're on the board. And so because of that, I'm very conflicted when I think people mean well, right? I think when people come before us and they do things like this, like what is rich, and they want to talk about the idea of generational wealth, and they want to help Black people with their money, I think these are well-placed ideas. But I don't know how to engage in the right way because I don't want it to be confrontational. I don't want it to be adversarial, but I do want us to critically analyze what's being put before us. And so, anyway, I said all that to say, I don't know how or if I want to like have us look at the show and because I don't want it to be like we're poking at, like I don't want it to be like this. Y'all always trying to bring the brother down. Black people can't get along. Like I don't want to play into all those narratives and tropes either. So I'm kind of just putting it out there. Like, how do we do these things in a way that isn't silly? That is us really saying like, we really want to have a conversation about these ideas, not the people, but the ideas.
So despite my own engagement and sometimes how I think I'm mischaracterized, that is how I honestly think I've encouraged and tried to engage. I don't descend to the silliness until I see the behavior of others. So I admit that level of immaturity. I don't always just take the high road.
And this isn't at you. I'm just saying.
No. I didn't take it that way. I'm just using myself as a way to answer because, for instance, when what I see, well, the John Hope Bryant example, as soon you and Amber hosted and invited him and tried to raise principled questions, even a little bit of disagreement in a very respectful way. And I found him to be incredibly condescending and dismissive and worthy of all the ridicule that he should get, that you didn't give, that you and Amber didn't give, that I know I've happily been part of. But I think, that's, it's that kind of thing. So really what I'm trying to say is that it's those who defend these conservative and reactionary ideas. They're the ones who engage in bad faith. I think they're the ones who refuse to engage principled criticism, particularly from their left, because they're there and they're positioned. And I think to a certain extent, consciously or sometimes not, are clear. Moving to the left is going to undermine my bag and my platform. So do you
think I think that people who a lot of times in this financial literacy space, I think they believe the hype. I don't think these are people I don't think they selling wolf tickets, right? I think these are people who actually believe that if you follow these principles, that this is going to happen on the other side, because maybe in their case it did, or they saw in somebody's case where it did. And so I guess, how do you engage with people who believe their method is like works, right? Like,
again, I don't know how to do it other than to just be, look, that's why I was trying to think about how I'm making it my own subjective answer here. But I have tried to, and I see others try to engage and just say, look, I'm down with you. I like what you're doing. I'm on your team. I just think we have this one. Look, I'll use the example. It taped last night. I had a very, for me, uncomfortable discussion with Jaleel Muntaqeen on his new show that's going to come out, and I don't know, in a few days, around buying power. And Jaleel Muntaqeen, the legend, the legend who wrote in We Are Own Liberators, he describes in a positive way, in a revolutionary way, how the value of what could be done with buying power. So I had to just, we've talked, on and off over the last couple of years, but finally had this sit down conversation. And for me, it was uncomfortable just to say to someone, basically, virtually to their face, look, you're a hero to me. Like, you've done things that I can only dream of being strong enough to blah, 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 blah. But on this one little issue, I think you've missed something, and I want to help you see it so that we can get back to be focused, more importantly, on the good work that you do and are advocating, and the ideas you're advocating that I think are undermined by this promotion of the myth. All right. Because he's a principled actor in these spaces, we had ultimately a great conversation, and my nervousness was unnecessary. And that's what I think. And that's the only way I can think of doing it. At some point, your criticism, Erica, has to be dealt with by people who are honestly in these spaces wanting to figure out how financial literacy can help Black people. Your work just has to be dealt with. So if they're honest, they'll say, I don't know exactly what they'll say, but they'll have to incorporate your work into whatever their goals are, and then maybe be confronted with some contradictions that they have to deal with, or make some adjustments in their work or their argument, so that they are more appropriately engaging whatever they're doing. Otherwise, they're going to have to make a conscious choice to ignore you, marginalize you, or worse, be hostile to you, as we saw, I think, with John Hope Bryant. And that's why I'm saying all we can do is produce the work, engage in principled, honest, sincere ways, and if they are principled, they will respond in kind. Otherwise, there will have to be some kind of conflict, and I think we have to be, unfortunately, clear on that too. I hope that helps, and I hope that makes sense. And I'm happy to hear what you and your doctor think.
I don't think that it's gonna happen. I mean, a lot of this stuff. No, for real. I mean, a lot of this is built on people's egos. And if they have a business, say like a church, and they're defending Jesus, and you come and be like, all right, let's take all that away and let's talk about what happened in Genesis. Could this really have happened? And they'd be like, well, if I go against that, then I got to tell my congregation that I was wrong. That's just like an intellectual. If they have a book or something talking about a certain thing, they're not going to go against their book. That's going against their prophets. So it's the ego thing. It's not really wanting to get down to the true essence of what it really is. So as long as you got stakes in something, you're not going to get off your square.
I agree. And that's why I'm saying all you can do, and you with you as an example, Erica, is produce the work that you produced. Mm. It's honest, it's well researched, it's for the people, it's real. And if people are honest, they'll engage it in that way. But that's been part of the, I don't know. I mean, that's part of the internal debate within these spaces and that have been going on forever. I remember Kwame Ture made that point about Black conservatives, and he said, we're going to come to them, we're going to beg, and we're going to beg them to participate and be down, and we're going to keep coming back. We're going to keep coming back. He said, ultimately, though, at a certain point, we're going to have to overcome them too. And so at a certain point, I mean, I don't know, but again, I just want to rest on this part that I am confident in this with me personally, and I think beyond. The hostility comes from people who are unprincipled and don't want to engage in the honest and fair criticism that all of us should be willing to deal with. So avoiding that, I think, is impossible.
Mm-hmm. And see, that's the thing. I can't take the step of calling people unprincipled, because I think that we are all victims of this system. Yeah. And the propaganda works better on some of us than others in some areas versus other areas. And I think that we really just do believe it, right? Because if I look back 15 years ago, the things I believed 15 years ago are not the things that I believe today. Mm-hmm. And whether that's in my faith, whether that's in this society, like all of these things for me have evolved over this time. And there were certain things like I used to probably believe most of it. And so in earnest. And that's why I don't know. I think
so. I'm not
too much of a soft. I don't know.
No. But I want to be clear about what I mean by unprincipled. I'm saying the point of being unprincipled for me is not at the initial argument. It's not in them making an initially wrong argument or taking an initially wrong position on something. It's in how they respond to the principled criticism. Mm. So if you, and I'm again using Bryant as an example, when you offer up principled criticism in conversation and he responds with condescension and disrespect, yeah, sure, that's what I'm saying is unprincipled. When people will say, as I'm sure was going to happen to you on some level or not, it's not that her work is wrong. I just can't confront it, at least not publicly. So I'm just going to ignore her like she don't exist. I'm going to act like I never read this book or read this paper. I never watched an episode of Brokish, and I'm just going to move on. That's what I'm saying is unprincipled. So I'm with you on that. That's why I'm saying I don't judge people's intent on that initial argument, because I'm like, I get it. We're all succumbing to levels of this propaganda and psychological warfare.
Yeah.
It's how do they respond? So it's like, you know, Jared, you were wrong. Can I show you where you were wrong? And then if I say, you know, no, or I become hostile just at the idea, you know, then I'm being unprincipled. And if someone says I don't like Jared's book, or I'm going to ignore Jared's book because I don't like him personally, that's unprincipled.
For sure.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I mean by that. And that's so yeah, I'm with you on that, you know. And again, you don't have to be, again, you said you're too soft. Like, it's not, you don't have to be an aggressive.
In my, like, for example, with this example, I want to be able to go to my classmate and be like, hey, see what you're doing. I'm excited for you. I think that's great. Let's talk. And I just don't know how to do that without, and again, it's a skill issue, right? Like, I don't know how to do that without, I think, having it look a certain way. So I just maybe I have to learn how to finesse things more than I know how to do now.
I don't know. You've told me, I mean, you even said it this morning. You disagreed with me this morning. You've disagreed with me, and you've, like, it's not been like.
I think it's about having empathy about where a person is in their education and in their life. Like, they haven't reached a certain point, so you got to give them a little grace. Is that?
Yeah, that's what we do with the ear doctor every time. You said exactly. That's.
But like how you said with me,
that's so unprincipled, Eric.
You did the finesse thing, and I thought it was, you said, how did you say it, Jared? I might see financial literacy a little differently than you. So you don't have to be like, you're wrong and you're dumb and I hate you and I'm never talking to you again. No, you just said, I see financial literacy a little bit differently. And then you laid out your position and we moved on. So if someone's being principled, when you say, I see financial literacy a little differently, can we talk about it? And then you lay out particularly with your expertise on the issue, why. If they respond with in any other way, then damn, I might need to reconsider, or let me check it, or here's my argument, or I just disagree with you and let's keep it moving. Like, then that's where they become unprincipled. So and that's where I think, and at some point that's where it has to be called out. Maybe not by you, but others then should call it out. And that's why I know I'm happy to play that role. If I watch John Hope Bryant show up on Brokish and act ridiculously, if you handle it the way that's comfortable for you, and then those of us elsewhere should pick up the baton, so to speak, and add to the echo chamber of calling that out.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's like if a preacher tells you to go vote, and you be like, "Well, Jesus never vote," and you always saying follow Jesus, and I'm gonna lose my congregation if I say something else different.
Wow.
Totally, your doctor. Totally.
Yeah.
Could Jesus have cast a vote in his day as they lived under Roman imperial rule? Did they cast votes for Caesars?
We're getting caught up in the semantics. What I'm saying is, you can't lose your flock if you got someone invested in it by reciting the truth. If you know
that's fair.
And that's where you're unprincipled. If you know the truth and you're out here like, well, fuck it, I'm not going to lose my congregation by telling the truth.
Well, yeah, that's pretty bad right there.
Sometimes it takes a minute to get to what I'm saying, but
I mean,
So real quick, we only have a few minutes left then, Jared. If you don't mind, just because we're talking about Jesus, if you could just pull up that first link and play that, I'd love to.
You.
Look at that transition right there.
That was very well done. Christian Nationalist pastor says that wives must submit to their husbands with a sense of fear and trembling and awe, not only in things she agrees with, but in everything. She belongs to him. He owns her. Oh, we got to hear more from this guy.
Wives, submit to your husbands in everything, is what the Bible teaches. And it is a sense of fear and trembling and awe, is the disposition of deference that the wife is to maintain towards her husband as she seeks to submit to him as the church submits to Christ, not only in things she agrees with, but in everything. She belongs to him. He owns her. Now he should own her lovingly, charitably. There's lots that could be said about the manner in which a Christian man owns his house, owns his wife, owns his children, owns his possessions, his resources. We can say a lot about Christian ownership and how to do that, not lording it over those in your charge, but rather, so we can talk about that. But that doesn't take away from the primary point, which is it is still ownership. She belongs to him. In fact, you can't even break. This is quite a statement, but I think it's true. I'm going to make it. You actually can't covet a woman. You can't break the 10th commandment as it pertains to a woman. You really can only covet a man because the man is the one who actually has ownership. It's him owning his bride, him owning his house, him owning his resources, him owning the children. Wow. Right? They're seated each night at his table. It's not just our table. No, it's my table. My table. That the children and wife are gathered round. The fruit of his lineage, his name, his legacy. That's the language that the Bible uses, and that has become utterly foreign to modern Christian ears, to where, as we even articulate it in today's episode, I have no doubt that many will be enraged.
Not just the Bible, but here's a book that I was given a while back.
The
black man's God, the black woman's God to understanding the black man.
Why am I not surprised you have a literal copy of that book?
Somebody gave it. Not only in Christianity, y'all. Keep it going.
Not only, look, I'm not qualified for this video because not only was I
you an owner.
No, incorrect. I was going to say
you were part of the owner class.
No, that's the point. Not only am I a Jew, not only am I an atheist, but I'm literally sitting in a house and literally sitting at a table that my wife bought me. So
you allowed her to go to work to buy
I don't know
that is yours.
Nice.
What I go to work to pay for is the garnish. The meal has been provided for me by my wife. So I am the supplicant. I just can only hope that she is owning me with care. Damn. All right, man. No wonder I'm an atheist. I can't handle it.
That book right there.
I can't handle it.
And if you consider that he says this about the person who he professes to love more than anybody else, it's so easy to understand how people are so willing to justify slavery, genocide.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is just a part of the ideology. It's fascinating.
Oh no, literally. This is literally, I paid his cell phone bills and my wife let me have a moment where I looked fly as hell last year, walking in and getting everybody new phones.
I'm the primary on the account is what you told them. You said, I'm the primary on this.
No, it's because that's all I'm paying for, that I could do it. So I looked like this magnanimous super.
No. You are lording over your family and you're being kind in your lordship. So you're sending your wife to work, keeping yourself happy. She's buying the things that you own.
There you go.
Damn,
I like how you
sending
said
her to work.
Yes.
He's
she can buy me my stuff. Wow.
You own your cow and you put your cow out in the field to work the field.
Oh my.
Oh, damn. He went to heifer. She went to heifer.
That is what it is.
Said he got the heifer out on the track, running around getting that scratch.
But if I say that part out my mouth, I better duck.
That's what he said. That man said that he said that wives are chattel and you put them to work. You can put them to work however you wish because you are the Lord.
Oh boy.
Damn.
All right. I think we should end it on that note.
Hey.
So
almost Dr. Brown. Hey, so when are you going to tell people of your decision, by the way? Because and confirm and let them, make that time in their schedule.
Because I know how people are. It's just like when you have a party, Ear Doctor knows this. You know, people be RSVPing or don't RSVP and show up and don't. You never know. Like people not gonna really show up.
I think you said your first Brocus drops on February 1st, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think you should announce the decision then, and people should tune into the first
Okay, but
episode.
we've already recorded that.
Oh, damn. I didn't.
No.
Wow. Professionals.
All right, look at that.
So I'll keep you posted. But Ear Doctor's getting anxious, so we gotta go.
Oh,
all right.
No, not me. I just gotta go to the bank and handle some things.
Yeah, you sure do.
Oh my goodness.
Good luck with that too.
Yeah, thank you. Broke is coming February, beginning of February, Black History Month, starting it off with a bang. And what you got coming up next, Jared?
I'm not entirely sure yet. We got a couple things being put together. So some discussion of Puerto Rico and Venezuela. And I'm not sure, but some other stuff coming up. So just everybody make sure you have the bell rung, all the likes and all the stuff, they're all selected on your notifications. And yeah, and it's been fun. Thank you, Erica, for coming through. Thank you, Ear Doctor. And salute to the undefeated chat.
Especially big up to J-Mon 2076 sending in $10. Yes, that super chat works. Y'all go ahead and try it out.
Thank you very much.
You know,
try it out.
It definitely works.
And what is this hype thing? Try the hype thing too. Are we hyping the video that I see other people get? Do we have a hype the channel, hype the video? I don't know exactly how that works, but push some buttons on these things. You know what I'm saying?
There's something to hype it.
On some videos I see in this YouTube universe that you can hype videos, and so if we have I'm not sure and then I'm not sure what I see when I log in versus what other people see when they log in. So if you see it, hit the hype and the share and the do all of those things.
Hype us up like Spliff Star, y'all. Come on, stop playing. All right. You don't know
Erica's
about that, Erica.
No,
she's not that hip hop.
No, she's too proper.
Let me think about a nice Christian hype man. I can't think of one. All right, have a great day, y'all. We'll see. Who?
Ty Tribbett.
There you go. But he's the MC. He's their MCs. They ain't the hype man. You know what I'm saying? When you figure out who a hype man is, it's the person that's not the main MC. It seems like our stickers are working here.
They work.
Yes, another $9.99. Thank you very much. But anyway, that's for another day, another time, and another time. All right, we'll be back tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. for some more of the Remix Morning Show. Y'all have a blessed one. Stay safe out there in these streets. Peace out, y'all. Remix Morning Show. Yeah. Black Liberation Media is a collective of Black and African organizers, journalists, academics, and media personalities serving Black and African masses seeking to further grow in their understanding of themselves, their histories, and the African world through entertainment and news. Please continue to like, subscribe, and donate to the channel so we can further serve you and liberate our people. You can also go to blkliberationmedia.org, get some merchandise, and also become a Patreon member and a member from the YouTube. Please do what you can, share, and show your love as we will show ours for you. Black Liberation Media.